Hey guys, it's Jordan. Welcome back to another episode of Whiteboard Sessions. We're so glad you guys are here when the scriptures become real. And today we're going to be talking about the topic of humility. I cannot wait to get started. Let's go. So what is humility? Or you may be confused. What does this mean? What does God and Jesus want us to see? Well, humility is an attitude that Jesus wants us to have. Matthew chapter 5, verse 3, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom. In the greatest sermon ever preached, Jesus wanted us to see the roadmap to his heart, and it always starts with humility. So why is this important? Well, it gives us the right attitude, number one. Then number two, it gives us the right mindset with God, but also with others. But then it guards us from pride, and that's something we don't want to have. So think about Josiah. Remember how young he was, but God said you were humble. Think about David. Even though David made many mistakes, he was a man after God's own heart. And even Jesus himself, the most humble man that's ever lived. But sometimes, guys, pride wants to get in the way. You want to be right, or sometimes you don't want to be wrong. Pride brings us low. Proverbs 29:23. Think about Nebuchadnezzar in Daniel 4. He was a prideful man too, so we want to guard from that. So how can we grow in humility? Here's our roadmap. Here's step number one. What we want to do is we want to ask for God's help. We can't do this by ourselves, so we have to be humble enough to come to God and say, I need your help. Here's step two. We need to change our attitude. We need to look at ourselves honestly and say, have I been this? Have I been humble? Can I be closer to the heart of Jesus? Step number three, focus on the words of Christ. Meditate on these things. The Bible is a roadmap to the heart of God and the heart of Jesus, so don't miss the point of it. And then step number four, don't do this by yourself. You can't do this alone, and we need God and we need others to help us along on this path as we're journeying together. And now finally, step number five, grow in Christ. Like we like to say here, where we learn, where we study, and where we grow. We're growing not in just knowledge, but we're growing closer to the heart of Jesus. That's what he wants us to see. Okay, question time. So let's do some review on what we learned today. So what does Jesus want us to grow in? Number one, does he want us to grow in pride? Number two, just in knowledge by itself? Or number three, does he want us to grow in humility? Pause the video, take time with your families, and let's look at this together. If you pick number three, humility, great job. He wants us to grow in our humility. Matthew chapter 5, verse 3. Great job, guys. Great job discussion and talking and learning together. Now, here's our second question. Well, what can stop humility? What can stop the right attitude that we're supposed to have? Number one, will mercy stop it? Number two, will love stop it? Or number three, will pride stop it? What do you think? Number three, great job. Remember, we looked at Daniel 4 with Nebuchadnezzar. Pride stopped him, but Nebuchadnezzar learned. Great job, guys. Perfect. Now, here's our last question as we look at this and we have our discussion together. If we humble ourselves, well, what will the Lord do? Number one, will the Lord make us more prideful if we do that? Number two, will the Lord lift us up? Or number three, will he give us popularity? What will the Lord give us if we humble ourselves? What will he do? Great job. He will lift us up. I am so proud of you guys. We've learned this together. We've studied together. You guys did such a great job. Perfect. I want you guys to subscribe on YouTube so we can do this together. We had such a great time and we want to do this again. Great work, guys. We'll see you again next time. Thanks, guys.